Well, we're back. Happy New Year. All the best to all of you for 2022. Some of you over my shoulder right now might be noticing a little bit of a throwback. You might be noticing that. It is my day counter. You know, a couple of years ago, almost 2 years ago, I came back from a vacation just as all of this was starting and was told, myself, my wife, my kids, that we had to quarantine in our home because we'd been out of the country for 14 days. Just as a way of keeping track of the days, on my little whiteboard behind me, I started putting down, day 1, day 2. And I don't remember exactly how high it got, but when I was doing these videos with you, working from home during the first phase of the pandemic, that 14-day count got up to, I think, somewhere around 200 days. It became sort of almost a running dark joke after that. Every time Ontario or Toronto specifically locked down, I just restarted the counter at 0. This is not a lockdown like it was in the beginning. And I don't mean to exaggerate and say that it is. But this is, again, a school closure. I'm counting the days until my kids can go back to school, even though my kids go to a school board where there's a vaccine mandate for the teachers and the support staff and the administrators, and even though my kids are both doubly vaccinated. If we keep telling people if they do the right thing, they will be allowed to have their lives back, and then we rip the rug out from under them, we cannot be surprised if that ends up having some consequences somewhere along the line. I actually want to make a separate point, though. One of the challenges we're facing right now is that we have broadly acknowledged, and the science has been very clear on this, that Omicron is a more mild variant of COVID-19. And it's funny how even just saying that has become controversial. You point this out these days and people go, don't say it's more mild, it can still cause illness. I'm not saying it's harmless. I'm not saying it's benign. I'm saying it's more mild, and that is factually accurate based on every bit of scientific understanding we have about this. We in this country are possibly facing a crisis again because even a more mild variant is enough to overwhelm our healthcare system. One of the things we're going to have to do, and sooner would be better, is have a really long conversation about our healthcare system here. And it's funny, look, I've been writing about this for years. I was writing about this even before the pandemic. It is almost impossible to have a conversation about healthcare policy in this country because as soon as you bring it up, you just immediately have someone go, oh, what, you want U.S.-style healthcare? It's like the immediate response that just serves to neuter any attempt to have a discussion about what we could reasonably do better in our own healthcare system here. I don't think there is any serious person in Canadian politics or healthcare who looks south of the border and goes, oh yeah, that's exactly what we should be doing. But what's wrong with looking all over the world and saying, this is a jurisdiction that does this better than we do. Here is something we could learn from this economically similar, free, democratic, free market country. Like, there are other countries in the world we can compare ourselves to other than the United States. But we don't. And the reason we don't is because healthcare in Canada is not a matter of public policy. It is a matter of national identity. What we believe our healthcare to be, which isn't what it actually is, but what we believe it to be, forms a part of the Canadian national identity, particularly in contrast to what we believe American healthcare to be. We need to start shedding our habit of only assuming that there are two countries in the world, us and those guys to the south of us, and that we are the inherently superior option on every possible point of comparison. There's a whole world out there that we could possibly be looking to for ways to firm up our healthcare system, which by international standards is expensive and mediocre. And until we actually have the guts in this country to start having that conversation, I have no idea how high that counter is going to go, and I have no idea how many times I'm going to have to reset it to 0 and start the count all over again.